Hey everyone! So I've always promised myself and God that I would keep it 100% real on this channel, and this week we found out, my family, some really horrible news about a close family friend of ours, which is not really my story to share, but if I'm being honest, it just made me question God's goodness. I was like, how could you know? And then it got me thinking as to how that means my faith is conditional. It's like, if you can fix this, God, then you'll be good. If you can save this situation, then I'll bring you glory. If you, then I, which is a conditional faith. And so I started thinking more about that topic and really what the truth of the matter is. So I'm going to read from Ephesians 2 verse 3 to 4. It says, "All of us, believers, also lived among them, the world, at one time, gratifying the flesh, or our sinful state as human beings, and following its desires and thoughts. Like the rest, we were deserving of wrath. But because of his great love for us, God, who is rich in mercy, made us alive with Christ, even when we were dead in our transgressions. It is by grace you have been saved." And the crux of the matter is, and this might offend some people because I'm not going to mince my words when I say this, and it's as to me as well, is that God doesn't owe us anything. He didn't owe us, he still doesn't, and he never will owe us anything as believers. He is the creator of every single cell in our body, every drop in the ocean, every star in the sky. He made all of it, and he chose to have relationship with us, but he doesn't owe us that. He didn't owe us that. So when we talk about you've been saved by grace, it's undeserved merit or favor of God to those who are under condemnation. So that's to all of us as human beings. It's an undeserved favor that he offers us. He doesn't owe us anything, yet because of his great love for us, we are saved and we are set free. And so in thinking about it this week, I was questioning myself, saying, how, Gabby, can you turn around and question God's goodness as though it hasn't already been lavished on you? Like, how can I say, God, you'll only be good if you do this for me, when the fact that I'm able to talk to him and have a relationship with him is already the greatest gift that I'll ever receive. And that was because of his love and mercy for me. So an example that I was thinking about in scripture, our church is going through Daniel at the moment, the book of Daniel. And there's these three friends, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And the context is that they were taken out of Israel, were made to work in Babylon for King Nebuchadnezzar. And King Nebuchadnezzar created a massive gold statue of himself in the middle of the desert that whenever music played, everyone had to bow down and worship him. And the warning was issued that if you don't worship, you will burn in a furnace in like an extremely, extremely hot fire. So the music played, and these three friends who believed in God, the one true God, refused to worship it. They would not bow down, they would not worship. So this is the scripture in Daniel 3 verse 17 to 18. They get called in by the king and told, what are you doing? Why are you not worshiping? You will burn in a furnace. And this is what they say: "If we are thrown into the blazing furnace, the God we serve is able to deliver us from your majesty's hand. But even if he doesn't, We want you to know, Your Majesty, that we will not serve your gods or worship the image of gold you have set up. In the end, they get thrown into the furnace and God saves them. They stand in a fire and don't burn. But what was so amazing for me about that verse is where they say, even if he doesn't. It's like, we're not going to put a condition on God. If you save us, God, then we'll worship you. They decided beforehand that they are worshiping God because of who they knew him to be and not because of what he could do for them. I'm going to say that again because it's really hitting home for me this week. They worshipped God because of who they knew him to be and not because of what they could get out of it, what he could do for them. So when we apply that to our lives, when we walk in grace, it looks like saying, even if he doesn't, nothing should change. If we're walking as believers who love God, there should be no conditions. It should look like, and when I'm saying this, I'm talking to myself as well because I've been thinking a lot about it this week. Even if God doesn't bring healing or change your financial situation or get you the job that you wanted or allow you to do the things you've always hoped to do or give you the relationships you always hoped for, even if he doesn't, will you still love him the same? Will you still worship him the same? If his love to me is so unconditional, even though I have messed up over and over and over again, even though I disappoint and I am a sinful person and I'm proud, he still chose me, loves me, showed grace and mercy towards me. So how come then as Christians are we so quick to put a condition on our reciprocation of his love? In other words, how are we so quick to say, okay, but I know you love me like that, but I'll only love you if, when his love never came with conditions. So I'm going to leave that there this week and leave you to answer the question because it's a very personal thing and you've got to be, all of us need to be super honest with ourselves and think, how conditional is our faith? How many conditions do we place on God on a daily basis or throughout our lives? It's something that I'm going to be thinking about and kind of processing this week, and I hope that it challenges you without condemning you. That's never my intention, for you to feel like she's judging. I'm really not, because like I said, I'm in the same boat. So let's just think about it this week, about how conditional our faith is, and if you have any thoughts that you'd like to share on that, please let me know. I love interacting and engaging with you guys. Enjoy your week, and I will see you next week.